It's the breaking news out of the NFL we are monitoring. The New York Giants are releasing quarterback Daniel Jones. This closes the book on 6 seasons with Daniel Jones as the QB for Big Blue. He went 24-44-1 as a starter in New York with 1 playoff win in that wild card round in Brian Daboll's first season. His record as a starter was just 3-13 over the past 2 seasons. Jones, of course, was drafted 6th overall out of Duke in 2019 and signed a 4-year, $160 million extension with the club back in 2023. So now there is a huge hole on the roster when it comes to the QB spot for the Giants. So you look at the draft coming up, and where do things stand? If you ask Ryan Wilson in his latest mock draft, he has the G-men taking Shedeur Sanders out of Colorado. The first QB off the board, maybe that next guy to lead the charge for the Giants. We mentioned his mock draft, and now, of course, we bring him in. So Ryan Wilson now here with us. I'm curious, is Shedeur Sanders the guy you think to lead the Giants moving forward?
Hey, Zach, good to see you. Wild day in New York. We saw the report from John Mara, the owner, who said that Daniel asked for his release this morning, and they obliged. So what happens next? And Shedeur Sanders and Cam Ward are going to be the quarterbacks we're going to talk about for the next 150 days or so in terms of who's going to be QB1 and who is going to be the team to take them. Obviously, the Giants have a huge need. We heard JJ just talk about that during the offseason leading up to last year's draft. Jaden Daniels was certainly something they were very interested in. Drake May as well. They got neither, and they landed with Malik Neighbors, which isn't a bad consolation prize, but you still need that quarterback. So is it going to be Shedeur? Is it going to be Cam? Who is going to get it? As we sit here right now, the Giants have the 3rd pick. The Raiders have the 4th pick. They need a quarterback. The Jets have the 6th pick. They can need a quarterback. And now the Browns, after winning last night, have fallen to 7th. They won in the short term, perhaps lost in the long term in terms of the quarterback battle. So I think the other thing to keep in mind here, Zach, is this. Jacksonville has the 1st pick. They don't need a quarterback. The Titans have the 2nd pick. They probably don't need a quarterback. So then it's going to be a lot of jockeying for those teams that I just mentioned that want to trade up. And whether they love Shedeur or whether they love Cam Ward out of Miami, that'll be the question we have to answer in the next months leading up to the actual draft. I like Cam Ward a smidge more than Shedeur Sanders. They're both having really good seasons, in part because he's a little bigger, a bigger arm, and a better athlete. They both can make plays off platform and out of structure. They have to get better at playing on time, and that's one of the things that Daniel Jones struggled with. But they're going to be poked and prodded as we go through this draft process to figure out which one is going to be QB1 to nose out the other one. But I just can't envision a situation where the Giants don't come out of this draft with a quarterback, because that would feel like an unmitigated disaster given their current situation with the quarterback room.
So whether you're a big fan of Shedeur Sanders or a big fan of Cam Ward, like, how do you differentiate the two? Do you think about maybe personality and a fit with New York, a fit with the media, the bright lights of maybe being the one, okay, yeah, this is who we need?
If I'm reading between the lines, Zach, I feel like you're saying Shedeur would probably be more inclined to go to a team like New York than a team like Cleveland. And maybe that's true. He hasn't said so publicly. We have heard his dad, Coach Prime, say that he will have some say on where his son lands. He's going to do it behind the scenes. He's not going to hem and haw about it publicly. But that's exactly what happened to the Mannings and Eli back in 2004, where the Chargers drafted him when they were in San Diego, and he found his way to New York. He made it clear he didn't want to go to San Diego. They drafted him anyway. They ended up with Phillip Rivers, and the rest is history. The Giants won 2 Super Bowls with Eli, so that's going to be a consideration. Shedeur's a pretty quiet guy. You don't hear a lot outside of the atmosphere that is Colorado football right now. But when you talk about Cam Ward and you talk to people at Washington State and you talk to people in Miami, they say through and through he is a leader, a very quiet leader, doesn't make a lot of noise in terms of him rah-rah stuff, but he shows it with his demeanor and the way he carries himself, and obviously with the way he plays. So again, these are 2 things that the QB-needy teams at the top of this draft are going to have to figure out in terms of what they like. And it's a weird thing, Zach, to try to figure out who these quarterbacks are, right? Because a year ago, Caleb Williams was the toast of the town throughout the draft process. And Bo Nix, who's played a ton of football, is one of the best young quarterbacks in the NFL. So fit matters, number one. And then you got to figure out who these personalities are and how they fit in your system. Brian Daboll has a long history of developing young quarterbacks not named Daniel Jones. We know about Josh Allen in Buffalo, and maybe that's an enticing factor for Cam or Shedeur. But then after that, when you're talking about Cleveland, they're been dysfunctional for as many years as they've been back in Cleveland, going back to 1999, it feels like. So these are all the things we're going to have to sort through, whether you're the team trying to find the quarterback or whether you're the quarterback deciding on whether this team is a good fit for you or not.
Yeah, it's crazy. I remember before the college football season started, there was that video out there of Cam Ward and shedeur Sanders working out, the two of them kind of chirping back and forth at each other, and now it's like going to be likely between the two of them for who's the first QB taken off the board and maybe heading to the Giants. Ryan Wilson, thank you so much. We appreciate you for your time. As now Daniel Jones saying goodbye to the Giants. They have a QB spot now. And of course, that means with Draft Talk, you always need to hear from Ryan Wilson and Rick Spielman with their podcast, With the First Pick. Make sure you like and subscribe to get all that insider and inside information that could get you ready for the draft year round.